Hello, everybody. So good to see you. Thank you so much for being patient. We're really glad you're here today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And wherever you are, we're really glad you've come in to sing with us again today. So happy to see so many familiar faces and some new faces. Hello to everybody out there on Facebook Live. We're glad you're with us. Hello, Karen. Nice to see you today. And hello, Deborah in Kentucky. Jane in the UK. Hello. Kathy in Virginia. Susan, hello, nice to see you. Pete, nice to have you with us today, coming in from Florida. Karen in Arizona, what a great background. I love the cactus with the hat. Yeah, others are laughing too. Hi, Doug in Vermont, great to see you. Dennis in British Columbia. Jamie in Victoria, hello. Karen, nice to have you today. Greg Lewis coming in from DC. Washington Rebels, hello. Hello, Sue in California. Kathleen in Albuquerque. Dion in Massachusetts. Sarah, nice to have you again today. Mary Eagle in Western North Carolina. Carolyn Wolf in Idaho. Hello, nice to see you. Suzanne in Ithaca. Lisa in Indiana. Bonnie in Idaho. Hello to Max in New Hampshire. Hello, Arlene in California. Belinda, nice to have you today. Kevin in New Hampshire. Becky in Vancouver. Anne in DC. Beth in Kentucky. Luda also in BC. Hello, Rosie in Michigan, Bob in Massachusetts. Hello to Barb in Kentucky and Dan in Virginia and Flawn in the DC area. Hello, Storm in Massachusetts, Francette and Dale in Colorado, Bill in British Columbia, Jenny also British Columbia. Hello, Rick and Mariana. Nice to see you guys today. Glad you're with us. That's Rick Pagliari, one of our regular song leaders. Hello, Wendy. Nice to have you today. Deli in DC, Norm, Isabel in Florida, Sid, Abigail, Nancy in Washington State. Hello, Abigail is actually Caroline. Hello, Caroline. Busy, hello, from Carpe Diem Arts. Hello, Janet in Georgia, and Sandy, and David, and Steve in Baltimore, and lots of folks with their video off. Great to see you all today. Martha, Melinda, and Jane, and Sandra, and Lynn, and Fred, and Beryl, and Gwen. And if I missed you, I'm so sorry. Stick around because we'll have some chat. We'll get to talk to each other in person later. Once again, hello to everybody on Facebook Live. Thank you for being with us today. Welcome to the Washington Rebels Carpe Diem Arts Daily Antidote of Song as we come close to our 260th day of singing together in this room. One song every day at noon. For anyone who's new to us, you can always find us here. Same time, same place. And we love having new folks in our community. Thank you again for joining us today. So I'm going to keep the announcements short today, mercifully short. Just regular old lyrics in the chat. My email's in the chat if you want to be in touch or get on our Daily Antidote email list. And the donate link is also in the chat, and I am extending the donation window for the holiday songs and cocktail party since we've had so many new folks come into the room in the last week. If anybody still wants to join, you can make a donation up till midnight tonight, and you'll be included. And that also extends to anyone who's unable to donate. If you email me anytime up to midnight tonight, you can still be included. The info on the cocktail party will go out tomorrow, and we're looking forward to seeing lots of you there. There will be two parties, 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with a host of about 8 or 10 different artists in each one of them. So it's also going to be fun if you can come to both. You will not be a repeat. All right. I would like to shout out a thank you to Binta for running the chat today, all the way from San Francisco. Thank you, Binta. And I would like to welcome a new song leader to the room today, hardly new to leading songs, that's for sure. Let's all wave to Tony Barrand from Nowell Sing We Clear. We are delighted that he is with us today and super delighted about the song that he picked, the Cherry Tree Carol. Tony, I'm so excited to sing with you. The floor is yours.
Well, okay, thank you. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us. So, I picked this one because I've been thinking a lot about the ballads of Christmas. And so this will be hard to teach a little bit because it has a cunning device that forces you to listen to the singer, because you have to take the last line of each verse and sing that again. So I'll sing the first verse and then repeat the tune of the last line so we can all sing that together. And just as a little warning, the last line of this verse is going to be, he married the Virgin Mary, the Queen of Galilee. When Joseph was an old man, and an old man was he married the Virgin Mary, the Queen of Galilee. He married the Virgin Mary, the Queen of Galilee. So I'm going to repeat those. It is actually the last line sung twice to give you a clue to the tune. He married the Virgin Mary. I'll change the key a little. The Queen of Galilee. Sing that with me. He married the Virgin Mary, the Queen of Galilee. Do it again. He married the Virgin Mary, the Queen of Galilee. So I'll get off into it. I'll sing the first verse again. Well, let me get the pitch. When Joseph was an old man, and an old man was he married the Virgin Mary, the Queen of Galilee. He married the Virgin Mary, the Queen of Galilee. As Joseph and Mary walked through an orchard good, here are apples and cherries, as red as any blood. Here are apples and cherries, as red as any blood. As Joseph and Mary walked through an orchard green, here are apples and cherries, as thick as might be seen. Here are apples and cherries, as thick as might be seen. Then up spoke sweet Mary, so meek and so mild, Joseph, gather me some cherries, for I am with child. Joseph, gather me some cherries, for I am with child. Then Joseph flew in angry flew he. Let the father of the baby gather cherries for thee. Let the father of the baby gather cherries for thee. Then up spoke sweet Jesus, all in his mother's womb. Bow down, thou tallest tree, that my mother might have some. Bow down, thou tallest tree, that my mother might have some. So low bowed that cherry tree, down low to the ground, and Mary gathered cherries, while Joseph stood around. And Mary gathered cherries, while Joseph stood around. Then Joseph took Mary all on his left knee, saying, tell me, pretty baby, when your birthday will be. Saying, tell me, pretty baby, when your birthday will be. On the 6th day of January, my birthday will be, when the stars and the elements shall tremble with glee. When the stars and the elements shall tremble with glee.
Yay. Thank you so much, Tony. That was lovely, lovely, lovely to sing along with. And I saw a lot of mouths moving on the whole thing. So I'm going to ask for shows of hands of how many people either knew that carol already or already have Nowell Sing We Clear as part of their regular holiday listening list. Yeah, there we go. Lots of folks. I'm looking at the next screen. Keep it up. Yeah, that's what I figured. Great to see so many of you here enjoying Tony Barrand's presence. So Tony, I think maybe what I'll do is have a little chat with you now, and then maybe we'll take a few hands and see if there are questions from the room.
Okay.
So one of the things I'm curious to know is if you have any memories of singing that carol anywhere on any of your tours around the world that are particularly standout memories.
Yeah, when I first learned it, I was in a workshop at Fox Hollow Folk Festival on the same stage as Gene Ritchie from Kentucky, of course. And Gene sang that song. And I liked it, especially as it was an American version. So Gene sang the song, and I then probably found it again in one of her books and learned it. And I haven't gone back and checked recently how accurate my version of the song is compared to hers. Doesn't really matter. That's where I learned it. And in terms of singing it, I remember my colleague in Nowell, Clear, Fred Brunig, who lives just round the corner from me in Brattleboro, Vermont. He had a daughter, Lauren, born on the 6th day of January. So when she was little, she used to like wandering around singing this song about her birthday. And at the end of the song, she liked the line, "When the stars and the elephants shall tremble with glee." And much as I pride myself on the articulation of words and when I'm singing, I like the stars and the elephants. That's good.
That's really great. I love it. So there's lots of great comments coming in on the chat, and I will scroll through and see if I can read any of them out loud when we're also taking hands. In the meantime, Tony, can you tell us just a little bit about what the holiday season looks like in your house normally and how it might be different this year?
Oh, you don't want the new normal. No, no. Uh, well, surprisingly to me, we now have only a pretty tiny tree. It's a real tree, being in Vermont here, where we still have plenty, and and uh, and you know we have 5 children, and so they all show up, and now there are 4 grandchildren as well, and it's a plethora of presents normally. In fact, by the end of the day, I usually quite the opposite of my normal self, and almost getting sick at the the part of Christmas that is giving presents. It's like, oh no, not another one, and then for everybody, and you go around the room, and everybody gets it, and they're getting other presents. So that's what it normally would be like. So I'm sort of looking forward a little bit to having to do it on Zoom this year with all of the family.
So you're going to have a Zoom with all of the family opening presents?
Probably, yes.
That's great. That would be a lot of fun to be able to see, huh? So thank you, Tony. That's really fun to learn. So I'm going to actually go ahead and give people the power to unmute themselves. We're going to take hands, so please don't unmute yourself unless I've noticed you, and wave frantically if I'm not noticing you. Do I have any questions from the room? Greg Lewis, go ahead. Yeah, gotcha. I already knew.
Hi there.
Hi, Tony. So a couple of questions. One is, you were in the Cambridge Revel show, were you not? Long ago.
Once, long ago.
That and any other Revel cities, or was that it?
It was just Cambridge. Oh
Yeah.
no. I tell a lie. We were also in a spring revels up in near Hanover, New Hampshire.
Near Revels North.
North, yeah.
Yeah. So wanted to ask, how many different versions do you think you have sung of Cherry Tree Carol? Um, uh,
I
whether
know
it be,
I know of 3 that I've recorded with Nowell, and so having to come on cold and start singing is always a problem because I have these other wonderful versions going through my head, and I have to sort out which one to sing. But
I think
I, 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 I was going over and over it this morning, so I think I got it right.
that's great. Last question. So when we were on with the Amadon family, I actually mentioned, and he mentioned you and Nowell Sing We Clear, and I said to everybody, if you don't know Nowell Sing We Clear, you have to do that. Go out and find recordings, et cetera, and so forth. At which point, Peter said that he is the choir director at a church where 3 of you guys.
Yeah.
I assume that's John and you
No. Pagan John wouldn't be seen in church. It's Tony and Andy Davis and Fred.
and Fred. All right, so
So,
that's terrific. And just very briefly, how did that come about? Did you learn? Were you the instigator? Was Peter the instigator? Was it luck?
I think Peter was the instigator, actually. It was after my divorce and getting into my wonderful second marriage. We were talking about my now wife had been married to a Jewish man, and she had studied with a rabbi in order to work with her children. And now that we were both in a thoroughly Christian marriage, we decided we needed to find a church. And we were up at a school in Putney, Vermont, at which Margaret Dale taught. And we met Peter and Mary Alice one day there, and they told us about this wonderful church in Guilford, Vermont, that they were going to, and where the singing was good. And so I showed up there. Margaret Dale and I went and loved it a lot. And then Fred Brunig showed up, and then Andy Davis showed up. So we had 3/4 of Nowell.
That's great. Do you ever sing in the choir?
Oh yeah, and I was
Good.
choir director for about 10 years, I think, or co-director.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you so much for great questions. And thank you, Tony, also for that, all those great answers. I will mention that Peter Amadon and Mary Alice Amadon are going to be singing with us on January 1st, and they are singing a version of America the Beautiful that I believe comes from the place where you all gather for services. So if folks are willing or interested in coming in to hear that day, I think that's going to be pretty special. Do you know the America the Beautiful that I mean, or is that not something you've done?
I don't know it, but Peter composes so much music that likely it has been done, and it went by and I didn't notice.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a question from somebody out on Facebook. I love when that happens. Hello to Alex out there on Facebook. And his question is for Tony, where do you go to search for new songs, particular archives or albums, or what?
I made the other part of my living, apart from singing, as a folklorist. So part of my research was on customs, seasonal customs, and the songs and dances of the same. So I'm an avid searcher into books and manuscripts looking for songs. So that's how it went along. And Nowell Sing We Clear started really when John and I had gone to England. John Roberts and I, that is, excuse me, are just saying John. John Roberts, with whom I've sung for 50 years, and we just pre-COVID did our 50th anniversary concert a year ago in September, and that's been the spur for me learning a lot of songs. And then John and I went back to England one year in 1976 or something like that, and heard a concert at Cecil Sharp House, the headquarters of the English Folk Dance and Song Society, or as they know in England, EFDSS, EFDSS. And in it, a wonderful man by the name of Patrick Shuldham Shaw, who was an important dance teacher and songster in England, had put together a concert at Christmas time that started with telling the Christmas story as we think of it with traditional folk songs, which has a quite different slant to it, because there are particularly pieces such as the Cherry Tree Carol that appear in what they tend to get called the come on, Tony, the apocryphal Gospels. And up until the 16th century, there used to be another book in the Bible called the Apocrypha, and many of those tales survive as folk songs. So that was particularly interesting. So the second half of the concert was traditional folk songs of the customs of the Christmas season, going all the way through to New Year. And as you heard in that song, baby Jesus himself thought that his birthday was going to be January 6th, which, if you do the calculation, the first day of Christmas being the 26th, so you get the child born on the 25th, start on the 26th, and then it gets you through till January 6th, and those are the 12 days. And I grew up living those 12 days of Christmas, and there were many customs of Christmas, usually visiting customs, where you go to a neighbor and you have a dance, or you do a song of some sort, or take gifts and so on. And so we came back to the States after being home in England, and part of the concert had also been to imagine putting the dance back into Christmas. And there are many of the Christmas songs that have real rhythm to them. And so, and many dance customs that associate with Christmas and the New Year. So we got together with Fred Brunig and a man called Steve Woodruff, who were both very involved in the dance world. And the four of us started putting together, if you like, a version of this type of concert, projecting the two different versions of how to do Christmas, if you like. One being the Christian Christmas story, and then the other being these pagans, call them what you like, could be pagan, or their vernacular customs. He said, putting on his academic hat and calling them vernacular, which is a word I prefer to the word folk, by the way. But people look at you askance and raise an eyebrow when you talk about them as vernacular songs rather than folk songs, because everybody knows what a folk song is. Somebody gets up with an acoustic guitar and sings some song they wrote, probably. Anyway, so the four of us learned up a bunch of songs based upon these two themes of Christmas. And then when we decided to, we did 4 concerts the first year, and you can learn all about this in our new songs and carols for Christmastide and midwinter that you can find at nowellsingweclair.com. And there's a book, and we ended up doing 6 CDs in the 40 years before we retired in 2014.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, anyway,
unbelievable.
Stop talking there.
No, I'm actually, what I was going to say is that I see that there's lots of questions both in the chat and I saw other hands. So I was going to say, for the folks that have to leave, can we go ahead and repeat the last 2 verses of that song and get to hear you sing again? And then anybody who wants to stay in the room for more chit chat can stay. And also for folks out on Facebook Live, if you want to transfer into here, you can go to revelsdc.org/daily-song. What is it? Daily-song. And you can click on join us in the virtual room and you can come in here for the rest of the chat. But Tony, for anybody who has to go, can we sing those last 2 verses again and then keep chatting?
Yeah, let me think to the last 2 verses. Well,
oh, or the last verse twice, maybe. I think we talked about, right?
On the 6th, the last verse twice. Well, let's see what we could come up with. Then Joseph took Mary all on his left knee, saying, "Tell me, pretty baby, when your birthday will be." Saying, "Tell me, pretty baby, when your birthday will be." On the 6th day of January, my birthday will be, when the stars and the elements shall tremble with glee. When the stars and the elements shall tremble with glee.
Thank you so much, Tony. It was so nice to sing with you in here. And I just want to say that the American Folklife Center at the Library of Congress, it's the archive at the Library of Congress, is someone who we've worked with closely. Folks in here might know we have Archive Challenge weeks, and we're looking to have one at the end of January. So maybe, hopefully, we can see if we can talk Tony into participating in one of the Archive Challenge weeks. He seems like he has the same sort of folklore brain that we know from Steve Winnick and Jennifer Cutting, where there's just this endless trove of knowledge, and we'd love to hear so much more about everything he has to share. I am going to say goodbye to everybody on Facebook Live.